No pressure. All right.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to, I don't know, what is this, episode 10, I think, or 15 or some craziness of the Terry and Elizabeth Samuels show. So I'm winging it today. I get this dumped on me. I don't even know who the hell we're talking to. I recognize Brian and Andrew. I don't know who this old guy is with the big old Santa Claus beard, but he looks cool. So, Andrew, Brian, you guys have been here on the show before. Let's just go with a brief, just in case anyone hasn't met you before, just the short, the short version. Reader's Digest elevated version.
Young kids don't know what Reader's Digest is.
Oh, yeah.
Go in your grandparents' bathroom. It's the little tiny magazine on the toilet.
Wow, those things are old. Yeah,
So, you want to go first?
Yeah,
sure,
go ahead.
I can start. So, name's Andrew Ansley. I'll be at the SEO Spring Training. Obviously, I'll be talking about AI. I am the co-founder of Content Sprout, and I am the director of marketing for Helium SEO. And I do just about anything: automation, marketing funnels, SEO, and ads. I love marketing, and I live in the Colorado area.
Colorado. Did you get snow?
We did, yeah.
Brian K.
Awesome. So, yeah, my name is Brian Cotto. I am a digital marketer, cybersecurity enthusiast. I'm pretty much a computer geek. So, ironically enough, I actually live on the other side of the lake from Andrew in Colorado. So we could send smoke signals or whatever we do out here in Colorado back and forth to one another. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I love computers. I love the tech stuff. I love to nerd out and geek out on pretty much all things that look like MS-DOS circa 1996. So
Nice.
So, in short, general super nerd.
Super nerd.
Who likes to use his superpowers for good.
Mostly.
Yeah. Okay, and our mystery guest. Come on, introduce yourself.
Mark Rabinovich. I go by Mark Rab because everyone has difficulty pronouncing my last name. I'm out in Texas. Well, right now I'm actually in California. And I own Digital Brain Labs. And I have a history of building and selling companies, particularly service companies. And what I do with my agency at the moment is I form partnerships with operation managers that have experience running a service company, and I take over the marketing side. And together we build real, actual companies, which sometimes we keep them, sometimes we sell them. And that's what I'll be talking about on SEO training as well.
Nice. That topic's been getting a lot of play lately. A lot of people are very interested. I think it's a natural transition if you think about it. If you're like me, you're 100% in the SEO, and that's kind of all you do, and all that digital marketing and stuff. It wears on you, in an emotional state and financially too, with the ebbs and flows of how the market goes, and looking at. I won't say how easy it is to generate leads, but we know how to generate leads now, especially for service area business. So it's an easy transition to go, you know what, I should just start a landscaping company, or I should start a roofing company. And really the only hookup or hiccup to the whole plan is, what if you don't know shit about roofing? So now you find somebody like you just alluded to. And that's kind of the question: how do you find that operations guy? Do you go poach somebody's cool dude that's working for another business, or someone that's, how do you find that person?
Yeah, so there's many approaches on how to find the right partner, and that really is ultimately the most important thing to get any kind of success, right? If you don't have a good partner, it probably won't work out no matter how many leads you generate. For me, because I've been doing a lot of client work and I've built relationships with these clients, I also got to know what these people are like. And I got to know that some of these people have a lot of drive and they really do want to reach for the skies as far as like whatever limits they want to go. And they've already seen what I'm able to do. So we've kind of already proven to each other what our capabilities are like. So it only makes sense for us to kind of like say, hey, maybe we could form a partnership and do exactly what you're already doing, but in a different area. You're already successful with your roofing company in Austin. Why not open up another branch in Dallas and call it our own? And that's a very easy sell once you actually have that trust and a long relationship that you've built over time.
Definitely the long game. This is not something to jump in lightly, especially if you don't have those relationships. We've all seen partnerships crash and burn.
Yeah, yeah. It's very tempting to jump into a partnership because on paper and in theory, it always sounds amazing. In reality, and I've been through pretty much every possible experience. So a lot of failures led me to this point where I realized that this is the way to go.
Now, Andrew, you have the SaaS software, Content Sprout. Just started that up. Do you have partners in that, or is that legit yours and you just went crazy?
I have partners.
Mhm.
Mine is partners are for me a way to not go crazy. You could totally do your own thing, but it's more fun to work with somebody else.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't have the money just lying around to be able to just get this up and running, so had to get a partner. And for me, I look for a partner who just can do the things, whether I can do them or not. If I don't have time to do them, then like that's what I'm looking for partners. But I have one original partner, and then I brought on one other person in the past 4 months
To fill a gap that you guys were missing from the other two, or
yeah, basically, yeah. So the part that we were, mine is AI knowledge, SEO knowledge. That's kind of like even though I can run and ads, I guess when we run ads. So I have those three. Then my original partner had money to invest, and then he had a network of people already with his social media stuff. And then he has the ability to hire people really well. And then he can also do email marketing funnels and just like create those sorts of like cold outreach. He owned a backlink agency, and he's transitioned and done some other stuff since then. Anyway, so that was the original. And then we brought on branding, aesthetics, UX, UI, that kind of thing. So we'll get more of like a web dev type functionality that's integrated now. And then we also have some project management that he'll be helping us with.
yeah, the web guys, developers in particular, seem to be really good project devs. And that's my partner from Rank Gear. I mean, when I found him, he funded everything. I was doing SEO for him, and we were doing SEO for mobile apps, and realized that was a waste of money. We might as well have just went outside and lit it on fire. But I mean, it's a lesson learned. Anyway, I had the idea for Rank Gear. I had just lost my ass, $15,000 in hiring a Java developer to build another tool for me. And he heard about it, pointed at me and laughed, and then said, "Hey, let's do this right," and came up with Rank Gear. And he funded all of that. And since he funded it, the way we structured that deal was all of his money. That's the first thing that got paid back was all of his development money.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're at 50-50. And it was a good transition into the SaaS space. I mean, I'm not by any means anywhere near where he is at. I mean, he owns Zista now. He bought topicalrelevance.com. He's got all his mobile apps and all that stuff. But it's enlightening for me and to learn that kind of stuff. Brian, you got any partners?
Not at the current time. We SEO at the beach. We did announce that Merlino and I are going in on some stuff. So that's in process, and we're going to be doing some crazy ass shit. I think that's the technical term for it.
And you previewed that a little bit, but that's going to be a SaaS too. But how did you guys
That
work
will be-
out the details of that? Like, Brian's going to be in charge, and Mike's going to be the guy, the face, or how are you going to?
Well, so Mike has a developer that I was introduced to. And so him and I have been working pretty closely. And then what we'll end up doing is we'll kind of wrap it up into like everything that Merlino does, some of the different kinds of things that I do, and it's kind of more of a collaboration between the two of them.
Hmm.
So we're underway on that one. We're probably still a month or two out for launch on that, but ironing out all the bugs, working on an MVP, and basically like the software works as is. It's just converting it from an internal tool into an external tool.
And back to you, Mark, since you're the one that started us off on this path of independence. Let's say you didn't have, let's say you weren't doing lead gen with the roofer, for example, or like my example, a landscaping company. Have you tried where you're the owner, you're also the marketer, and then you find the I guess it would be general contractors for the licensing and all that stuff to fill the fulfillment role? Have you tried something like that?
Yeah, so I'm actually a licensed contractor myself in California, and I've had four different service companies that I've started myself, wearing all the hats. It's not easy. It's not easy wearing all the hats. And in retrospect, I think that, you know, if you do find a partner that could either handle, I'm not very passionate about the operations side. Um, and, it's important to be passionate about what you do. And I've met other guys like contractors that really do enjoy what they do. They are real go-getters. I was doing what I was doing out of necessity, not because I was enjoying myself. I immigrated to the States. I didn't really have much. I needed to do something, and that's kind of like what I fell into. Um, and it opened up a lot of different opportunities and ideas of what I can do next. So I think wearing all the hats is definitely possible. You probably won't reach your full potential, and it'll probably take way, way longer, if it'll ever happen at all.
Because of the learning curves and et cetera.
It's going to take a lot of your time and a lot of your energy, and it's hard to be good at everything all the time consistently. It's just not possible. So you're going to wear yourself down. You're going to manage employees, and you're going to manage accounting, and you're going to manage marketing, and you have to keep up with everything. And you got to be an SEO guy, and you got to be a web dev guy, and it's just a lot. It's a lot to do, and it's kind of like, for some people, it's destined to remain a small company forever if you go that route.
Mm-hmm. If you were in the idea of scaling, what would be like, say, your first 3 hires?
For a service company?
Scaling, yeah. Let's say you got all your people that could actually fulfill it for you. Now you want 3 hires that'll get you out of it. So you're not.
And answer this for marketing companies afterwards too. I'm curious if there's.
Well, I think in many ways it's very similar, right? So if you look at the contractor side of things, the operations side and the marketing side, everybody brings their own kind of resources, their knowledge and their experience. On the contractor side, you have an operations manager, you have the actual labor, you might have a sales person, depending on what it is that you do, right? Maybe for landscaping, you don't have somebody that's dedicated for sales. But when it comes to construction, you do. And that sales guy is also, in a sense, an equivalent to an account manager, because he's the one that makes sure that, the project is successful, that the crew actually gets there, does the job, completes it to the satisfaction of the customer. So that part is on the contractor side. On the marketing side, you want to have a web dev guy. You want to make sure that on that end, you're doing everything right, especially with on-site. You want to have good performing, anything to do with your server, to your website. And then you got your SEO and ads. You can't deny ads, because ads will deliver leads. And ultimately, you could build a very small, lean amazing team that would be focused on this one or maybe a few partnerships that you're in and really, really reach like maximum potential without having, the same resources that you might need to manage 100 different accounts as an agency.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. You didn't necessarily mention contracts and hammering out expectations from the very beginning. I think a lot of us have had partnerships that have failed. And I think it's really important to put out on paper in a binding contract who's expected to do what and a way to measure that performance. Otherwise, people just kind of go their own way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. So you do need a written contract, and it needs to be a really good one. And a really good contract is a contract that you put in a drawer and nobody ever wants to open that drawer because it's that good. That's a good contract. And it's got to fill in all the different blanks, all the different concerns, including what happens if you want to break up. You have to put it all on paper so that when you get to that point, if you ever get to that point, you're not going to start to scramble and like worry about, oh, we never even thought about this.
Yeah.
What do we do now? So yeah, that's definitely going to be a very important part of it to start off right. Expectations, in a very similar way to how you would manage a client, this is not really that different. You do need to set expectations on what you can deliver. I've been with partnerships where the contractor was so eager, thinking that, I could just flip a switch and the floodgates will just open. And, as much as I'd love that to happen, in reality, that doesn't. So, that part is very important. You got to make sure that you've got a partner that you feel is going to be able to take as many leads as possible and really convert them in the best possible way. With a lot of my clients, which turned partners, we had call rail and we had calls recorded. And I was able to see how they managed that and what their response was like and whether or not they ended up closing these jobs. And you could put together a CRM where you could actually track all the leads, whether they end up closing them or not. And that'll give you a good statistic on whether or not things are going well. And then you could have, a meeting once a week, whenever, and review that stuff and see where you guys can improve. So that's kind of like in regards to the contract and expectations that you were asking about.
Yeah, it's super important. I've just seen in our experience, Terry can attest to it now that he's finally shown up.
Terry,
it's scary when people don't always take it that seriously. So
Yeah.
Well, we learned real quick, especially, hi guys, sorry I'm late. When you install virus protection on your computer, it usually locks down your browser. So Firefox is wide open, Chrome doesn't work. So that'll play after this one. So anyways, we didn't think of contingencies like COVID in our partnership. So that was a big learning lesson to make sure that you think about, death, just, divorce, all the 4Ds or whatever that you need to have in a partnership agreement. But we never thought of, freaking lockdown for a year and a half, appendix, extra part of the contract. But no, and that's one of the reasons why I think what you're doing is awesome, because I think if you get to this certain point in this business, you have to start doing equity plays. Otherwise you're just going to continually take care of clients and continually losing and gaining and losing and gaining, and it's just a never-ending battle. And so it's awesome. So sorry I'm late.
One other question I had, I'm sure a lot of people will have it. You said you were a general contractor. I'm assuming before you got into SEO, so you did some contracting stuff, and then you're like, this sucks, let me go do something cool, and started digital marketing. And it was an easy transition for you to go back into, I won't say general contracting, but go back into home services. What about someone who doesn't have that license? What if Andrew decided today he wanted to be a roofer or he wanted to own a roofing company? How hard do you think that transition would be? And let's go with just California, for example. Does Andrew need to go get a contracting license?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm not a general contractor. I have a special contractor's license, and it's specifically for um, any kind of like security systems. I could open up a locksmith company, but I could also do any. One second, I lost you here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I could do anything to do with security systems, including operators like garage doors and gates, um, prison locks, that kind of stuff. So that's what my license allows me to do. In California specifically, you need a license to breathe. Uh, there's a license for everything. You need a license to open up a landscaping company. You need a license to hang Christmas light trees. You need a license for pretty much anything. You want to sell and install artificial turf, you need a license. So everything in California requires a license. So there's a workaround, which is a bit of a gray area, but it's very common here in California, which is an RMO. An RMO is a responsible managing officer. And you can find someone that has a license and you could add them to your company. I think they need to own at least like 10% equity in order to qualify as an RMO. And once you have an RMO like that in your company, you are technically licensed. Your company has a license. Now, it's a gray area because that RMO actually needs to be responsible. So, if something happens, then you got to. But I guess that really depends on how comfortable you are with that kind of scenario. And it's also going to depend on what kind of work you're performing.
Hmm. Is it easy to get the license? Just go drop a few dimes somewhere and you're good, or you got
Some licenses are easier than others.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that I got was not easy to get. At least I don't think it was easy to get. You have to go through, for any license in California, you have to go first through a law exam, which basically tells you what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do on all fronts as a business, with your the people that you hire, how you need to sign contracts with your actual customers, and all kinds of safety things like OSHA. So that's the law exam, and everyone has to do it. And then you have, for certain contractors, you have to go through an additional, more professional and expertise exam. So if you're an electrician, obviously you're going to have to go through that. If you're a plumber, you're obviously going to have to go through that. With that said, that's California, and that's not how all states operate. Texas, for instance, is way easier. In Texas, you could actually be a general contractor and you don't need a license. You could build a home and you don't need to be a licensed contractor. There isn't a license for a general contractor in Texas. There's a license for an electrician. There's a license for a plumber, which makes a lot of sense. So I think that you could also pick and choose the right state on where that really does make more sense. Obviously, there's also the money factor. There's some places where you have more money and more demand than others. So you got to really kind of like find that right balance.
When you were making a decision to do this stuff, did you ever think about the infamous white label, the fulfillment, potentially?
Doing a white label fulfillment?
Yeah, like think like a general contractor. You're not going to install all the electrical panels, so they go out and they hire a subcontractor to do. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Subcontract out your job. So you, for example, stand on security systems. You know how to do it. but you can close leads and get sales faster. Then you can do the fulfillment stuff, and you don't want to deal with all the employees, so you just subcontract out the installation part. Did you try any of that?
Yeah, so I've done pretty much anything you could think of. I've sold leads without, being involved at all, just generating them and selling them for a fixed price. I've done I've done revenue share, and I've also subcontracted out to other people to just go out and do the job themselves and collecting a commission. So I've done pretty much everything. There's so many downsides to all of those options. I think the most important downside to realize is there's no long game here. If you're going to sell leads to anyone, if you're going to pass leads to anyone just to collect a commission, you're not going to have an asset in a few years from now. You're not going to have anything. And that relationship is really delicate. It doesn't take a lot for that relationship to just completely end. And you're not going to build a reputation for any kind of brand, which is now way more important than it ever was. Maybe when I first started, like a little bit over 10 years ago, it didn't matter. You didn't really need to worry so much about branding. You just needed to worry about getting as much leads out there as possible, and that would be enough. Nowadays, I am very much concerned about building a brand and building reputation, because we also see how things are changing in our world, in our digital world. And what is very easy maybe to do today might be very difficult in a year from now. Mm-hmm. And if you build a company and you actually have a brand and you actually have a reputation, you could actually survive that and just adapt based on whatever changes come along.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
I think it's probably a good point too. Is when I know a lot of us poo-poo agency work. Oh, we got clients, blah blah blah. But clients and an agency is a brand. It's a entity that you can sell versus the allure of doing pay-per-lead, rank and rent, where you're selling leads. I mean, those are only as good as you got people buying them, and that income is ebbs and flows based off of lead flow. Whereas an agency or a equity play partnership like what you have, it's a sustainable business, it's a sustainable asset that you can actually grow or sell or do both at scale if you wanted to, or you can keep it small if you wanted to. So that's good to hear that perspective for sure.
Yeah, and I'm just going to add that anyone like Terry or Brian and all of you guys, anyone that's been running an agency and has been managing countless clients, if you're going to have to only take care of like 3 or 4 clients, we'll call them clients, and they would be like your VIP clients. They would be like your only focus, nothing but these 3 or 4 brands. How successful do you think they would be? Mm-hmm. If all of your time and all your focus and all your resources, you'd hire like, a fucking A team. You'd get like the best people you can hire, and you would just be pumping out content. You'd be getting the best links you can get. That's on the SEO side of things. You'd be testing and checking out all the ads that perform best until you get the best conversion rates and best cost per conversion. Yeah. You would have all that in place in no time. And that's something that even if a competing company like another roofer was to hire you as an agency, they probably lose to you if you were actually focused 100% on that roofer yourself, because you're invested literally. Yeah. So you get like all that ammunition, all that knowledge, all of you together have like so much knowledge and experience that if you were basically a marketing director in a roofing company, I'd say there's a very slim chance of any roofing company like standing a chance against you.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'm
And
saying
that's,
that not to be arrogant. I just, that these are facts.
yeah, and I mean that's the whole
100%.
thing. I mean, at some point you have to get to this stage of going, look, I've got to just start doing something for me or something for my family or whatever. And I've done the lead gen thing. I was heavy into it about 4 years ago. I like doing, like, I call them rank and bank, just basically rank a website and sell the whole site to a contractor. I really didn't like this sell lead thing because I thought it was a maintenance management nightmare. And then you had the, oh, that lead didn't work out. And, I mean, you had that kind of BS. But, the cool thing is about any type of stuff that you can look for something, like you said, or you can focus on. The big shift we did, or I've done, is I spend 50% of my time on my affiliate sites every day. So, I'll do 50% between Salterra and, my clients, and then I'll do 50% of our 5 affiliate sites. So, because that's my time, that's for me. My goal is to flip a couple of those. That's the goal. So, but I like when people have a different stage in their walk or whatever they want, their growth, of saying, look, I can pretty much get, especially if you're niche down, I can rank any roofer anywhere, anytime, anyhow. Now I need to start doing it for me, type of thing. So I think it's really cool. But Brian and Andrew, have you guys done anything like this stuff?
I actually just started dipping my toe in it. I've got a couple buddies um, that they have like various home service businesses, or concrete, or roofing, or those kinds of things.
Mhm.
Businesses that are never really going to go away. I mean, you need a plumber to come clean up shit in your bathroom. Like,
Yeah.
that's not going to go away, right? And so we started dipping our toe into this, and I actually really like the way Mark's approaching this, because like, again, you are vested into the business as a partner. And with all of my buddies that have actually gone back into the SEOs that have gone back into home contracting, construction, things like that, or into any of those kinds of services, Mark hit it on the head. Like, if I were to like if an agency were to hire, or a business were to hire any one of us, they're going to pay out the nose
Mhm.
for our services, because of just like if I were to hire Clint, I'm going to pay, like, I'm probably going to lose all kinds of money, gain money, but I'm going to pay out the nose for it because he's that damn good. And so the thing is that, like, if you're doing that for your own business, though, you've got that caliber of SEO where you're like, look, we can rank anything, like you're saying, Terry. We know that we can do this for a business. This is what we do consistently for clients. But now I'm bringing that internal, so that's not necessarily an expense that the business has to pay for, so to speak. That's integrated within the business. So as a partner, I can push that marketing agenda forward. We can wrap this up into the business, and now you have a top shelf SEO working within the business that's part owner. And the more money the business brings in, the more money you make. It seems like a really natural progression to me. And rather than having clients that, like, oh well, we didn't like this, or as you mentioned, Terry, like, oh, those leads, they didn't work out for us, we're going to squabble about this and that. Like, look, the leads that are coming in, that's your direct responsibility as a partner in the business. So if they suck, you know who to blame, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think that, to me, that's a fantastic way to go. We just started dipping our toe into that. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Andrew? Have you guys dipped into it?
We haven't. We're dipping into it. So my thing is, first and foremost, SaaS, providing technologies for these companies. So whether it's there is for service-based businesses specifically. So providing, streamlining and automating everything. So my goal first is bringing AI to just any of these companies that are traditionally slower to adopt, and that's the angle now. But at the same time, me and my partner are creating marketing funnels and just like entire marketing systems that are kind of like out of the box, pre-made, where you can just subscribe. And so very much the same kind of thing that you guys are describing with, hey, we'll bring in the leads and then you do everything else. We're trying to do that, but we're trying to do it in a way where it removes any sort of, we might make a little bit less, but if their entire ecosystem is built on us, and then as well, like it's pretty easy for us to actually run the ads, to do whatever, run the SEO if they want, or if they don't want us for SEO, then we can just easily strip that out. It doesn't really matter. That's the angle that we're taking. I do eventually want to own companies like that, and just be the part owner of some sort of company. But
Yeah.
from what I can tell, so I'll just speak from, this is secondhand. This is from my dad, who he's in a group called Entrepreneur Organization. It's like the top 1% of businesses in the world. And I grew up with him being a serial entrepreneur. And while I don't have his help financially, I do have his help with at least being able to just ask questions to people that are just, I mean, literally I've had conversations with billionaires. And that's just a weird thing that a kid can have access to. And what I've seen and from these people is that you need to have a guarantee if you're going to find a partner, and you need to have like a quick way of demonstrating. You either need like a huge amount of testimonials already, or you need to be able to say, I can prove this out in 60 days. I can change your business and you will feel the impact in less than 90 days. Whatever it is, there needs to be a window and you need to be able to do it. And I find that SEO, you can't make that guarantee. So you need to either have a partner who is good at ads, or you need to be good at ads, and then you need to have those other sort of like marketing funnel skills. And that's when you really have the full system, because SEO is the long game. It helps with branding. It's going to drive down the cost of your ads as you become more, I guess, notorious or more well known. So that's, I have those skills now, and that's great. So I'm trying to get into it, and it's just very appealing. I think it's also future proofing with, even if marketing is in danger with AI. I mean, if you can partner with somebody and run the business, even if like Mark said, one person can't do it all. And the operations person, or the person that's like managing the team and all the other like technical details of the specific niche, if you can just be the one that brings the AI stuff and all that other component, then even if AI is risking all these other jobs with marketing agencies, I think you're not at risk, because that will always be needed due to just the limitation of time. So just be that person. And that, I think that's the future-proof strategy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's I've been preaching for a long time about quit just being the SEO.
Yeah.
If you're just the SEO guy, you're going to get trampled. And it's very hard to teach people, or to explain that to people that just all they think about is SEO. Yeah, they might dabble in AdWords. They might, they've heard of Go High Level, or excuse me, High Level. I just realized a couple weeks ago it's not Go High Level. Anyway, so it's just, it's really interesting when you talk to people about where you see yourselves in 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, And, I even had a guy comment yesterday, I'm hoping he becomes a student, but his thing was like, well, with AI, I'm not sure if I'm even going to have a job. And I'm like, well, that's kind of the wrong way to look at it from the get-go, So you need to look at it from, well, how can I get on the AI train? How can I get on this system to either help myself, my business, my clients, whatever you want to do, and then start going down that road. And because he was so entrenched he's been doing SEO for 3 years, and he's so entrenched with just SEO. That's all he does. That's all he thinks about from the time he wakes up until the time he goes to bed. And he doesn't dabble into anything else as far as, lead generation. If you don't have a lead generation plan, which SEO might be a part of, but especially at the beginning, it's going to be a super small part of, you can tell clients until you're blue in the face that it's going to take 6 to 9 to 12 months. But that third month, they're going to be calling you going, I've been paying you for 3 months and nothing's happening. Well, I told you. Well, now you're already in a negative space with that client. So, but that's awesome. So, hey, Clint, have you dealt with this type of stuff before? The stuff that Mark's doing?
No. I was asking a lot of questions specifically for me because it's something that I want to do here in Yuma. We have home service providers, but it's really a bunch of hodgepodge of crap that goes on.
Yeah.
You get the folks that come from Mexico that do an awesome job that do it for cheap, but they're all like knickknack providers. And then you have the meth heads that own the rest of the companies that are in here. So I figured it'd be a good opportunity to start something up in this area that we can grow and join there's a small collection of known businesses and families here that everyone knows. I'm gonna go to the dentist, you're going to Gila Ridge. I'm gonna go to the car dealership, you're going over to the Chevy dealership. That kind of stuff, and there's a couple in home services like that too. It'd be cool to join that group, I think.
Yeah,
I think
Yuma's kind of the perfect size space to do it in, right? What do you guys like, 300,000 or something?
It's 150.
Yeah,
300 Canadian.
yeah, that's like when I started in home services, I went after those size towns in Texas. Those 150,000 populations that are 40 miles apart from each other, and so you can do a lot of stuff in there. So that's pretty cool. So
I think the big distinction, though, that one of the things that I'm really taking away from Mark's, the way he's approaching this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but this is not lead gen, right?
Yeah.
This is you owning the business and actually being a part of the business, as opposed to like, we're going to bring in leads, we're going to be kind of like this, like, so if things go sideways and to hell in a handbasket, that's on you. If they succeed, if you're, if you expand the business into multi-location, you're talking, cross state lines, things like that. Again, that's on you. You reap the rewards of that. And I think that's, to me, is what's most appealing about this, is that if you're building that business, I mean, because like, let's be honest, like, let's say you're, we'll go like low barrier to entry type business, home cleaning services, something like even on that you could find on like Craigslist, someone that doesn't really know how to market themselves well. You partner with them. They go into these houses, they clean them. You fucking like elevate their business to the point where they're dominating maps. They're the ones getting the calls. They're the ones getting the leads. And for home cleaning, let's be honest, it probably takes you maybe $1,000, $2,000 for liability insurance, and maybe $300 to $400 at Costco in cleaning supplies at most. So you're a few grand into it, and you can own like this kind of a company, or like scooping up dog shit or something like that, or lawn mowing, or,
California to cost $5,000 just for the license.
Yeah,
The dog poop contractor license.
Yeah, so you start one of these businesses, you build it from the ground up, and again, those kinds of things they're not really going away. I mean, they're things that people would spend money. I mean, we pay for people to drive us food and deliver it to us, right?
Yeah.
But
one of my biggest clients was a dog walker pet sitter. It's amazing what people will pay for, especially around their pets.
And what's the barrier to entry to something like that?
Oh yeah,
really,
for sure.
I mean, it's almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so to get involved with a business like that, to actually build it up and be a part of that, where, hey, if you're rolling, 6-7 figures on a dog walking business now, and you're a part of that, heck yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Go start another one. And you're not worried about the client having to say like, oh, well, sorry, marketing's on the chopping block, or, oh, we don't really like your leads, or those phone calls sucked. It's all
like,
about what you're bringing to the table.
For sure. 100%. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So
I
what are you
think,
guys looking the most for about spring training?
Just to kind of like bounce off of what you were just saying, Brian, if you feel that you're good at what you do, if you're confident in what you do, you sell what you do to clients, you should be very comfortable being your own client. If you can be your own client and you're confident in your abilities, why not?
Mm-hmm.
We sell this all day to other people. If you can't
Yeah.
sell it to yourself, that raises a red flag.
Oh yeah, 100%. Without a doubt.
Terry, to answer your question, I'm most excited just to see other SEOs, hang out. I know the speeches are always, whatever is said on the stage is helpful, but I find that the conversations are twice as valuable. It's almost like the stage is just more of like a, hey, here's kind of the realm of expertise I have, so then I know who to talk to have like those like the deeper questions that are more meaningful. And it's also just lonely working in an isolated room all the time. So just for pure friendship, not even like advancing my career, it's just gonna be fun to be around other like-minded business owners, not just SEOs, but just marketers in general.
For sure, 100%.
I'm looking forward to the format, to be honest. This is something that I've seen done at a couple other conferences, not at this level. And I think that that's one of the things that I'm most excited about is the ability to kind of bounce in between, you know, kind of a choose your own adventure or pick your track kind of a thing, where you have the main stage, but then in the afternoon when you have the breakouts. To me, that's one of the things. Like when I actually first met you in person, Terry, in New Orleans, having that kind of like small group mastermind where it was like, all right, what's Terry doing? Let's bounce ideas, off of him. What's this person doing? What's Mark doing? What's Andrew doing? Let's bounce ideas off each other in this kind of like smaller, more intimate kind of a thing. And I know you're offering two different approaches to it. For the people that are having that are restricted by travel or not able to get to Scottsdale, you have the fantastic option for them to live stream it, which is that's just awesome. For anyone that is actually going to be at the event in person, definitely. And I know you mentioned this on other episodes of your podcast here, but get out, talk to people, meet people. The conversation at the bar is probably where I've personally gotten the most helpful, genuine information from people, because they know that like, hey, we're just talking here. There's no pressure on like I've got to put together some kind of pitch deck, or I've got to put together a presentation for you. It's just, here's what I'm seeing work. Let's chat about this. Let's see kind of what let's bounce ideas. Let's actually like a meeting of the minds.
Exactly. And it's, one of the things that we've taken pride in over, I mean, this is our fifth one, so obviously we're getting, better at it. But I think the biggest thing is we start with the venue. I mean, just because of the networking, that's the whole thing is, there's a ton of hotels that you can go to and that don't have any hangout space. They might have a bar, they might have a restaurant, but that's it. So when we start looking at, hotels, which this one's different from last year, it's actually one hotel north on Scottsdale Road, but we felt that the networking areas were better. We also felt that, one of the questions we ask is how long does the bar stay open? These are people that hang out until they're kicked out type of people. So it's like,
last year's
so
going to be tough to top, though. I mean,
Yeah.
the courtyard and being able to hang out in that area was pretty awesome. So this year will be, if it's going to beat that, people are in for a treat.
And that's the biggest thing is, that's where you build the relationships. Coming to the conference, and I tell people all the time, if you come for a specific reason and you don't get that reason, tell me, I'll make sure you get that reason. But the biggest thing is come with an agenda of what you want to accomplish, some goals, but then also come with, some people that you'd like to get to know better, some people that maybe are talking about things that's right where you're at, maybe you are starting to build link building and do that type of stuff. Well, we have a whole room for those type of people, that are just starting to do the link building stuff. it's something that's important, but it's also something that you have to do right, because you can also, just like anything with our business, you can screw up really bad if you don't link build the right way. But that's the kind of thing. It is a new format. I think everybody's pretty excited about it. It's going to be interesting to kind of make sure that we wanted to do this last year, but the rooms were under remodeling at this hotel last year. But so this one's going to be super exciting. My house is full of swag right now, so the girls for the next 3 days are going to be putting swag together. This is crazy time for us here. So, but yes, there's still some tickets left. The live stream is still open, but the live stream will probably close sometime this weekend. I think we only have 4 or 5 live stream spots. And if you know how software works, you buy one package. If you go to the second package, it's usually 3 or 4 times that amount. So, so we're cutting it off at the basic, the amount that we originally bought in for. And it does, if you pay for the live stream, it does record. So we're not selling separate recordings. So in order to get the live stream that's recorded, then you're going to have to do it that way.
So someone could potentially attend live, but then also purchase the live stream if they wanted to get the recordings.
Yeah, we've already, I've already got a few people that did that. Yeah, I got a few people that did that, especially agency owners that really aren't bringing any people with them. They want the live stream recordings so their people can watch. So
that's cool. That's really cool.
Totally fine. So
I have one question about
disclaimer: it's going to be at speaker's discretion. So the speaker doesn't, like for me, I'm probably going to show my schema only site. That's not going to be live stream. Sorry.
Who are the people that are coming? Like, not their names. What kind of person is the average attendee? Is it just marketers?
Mostly agencies.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly agencies. We inevitably have some small business owners that come. Like last year, we had a lawyer show up and he brought 2 of his in-house team with him. So some people will come to learn some of their own stuff. But yeah, mostly agency owners. It's not real heavy VA like a lot of the other conferences are. So, and so that's, so it's really kind of our peeps, so to speak. So, the conference ends Sunday at lunch, and then Sunday afternoon is the tech day. The tech day is the most popular day every year, except for the golf day. I'm more prone to the golf day, but the tech day is pretty cool. Sunday afternoon, it's when we shut everything off camera wise, and we just start showing some really cool stuff, whether it be, Brian and his sheet stuff, or Chad Michael and some of his AI stuff, and I'm sure, Simon Cornelius popped up there last year and showed what he was doing. So it's kind of a free for all, but it's all tech based, kind of what we can see and manipulate. So to speak. So,
there's going to be some fun stuff. They're looking at and talking with some of the other speakers from Tech Day. There's going to be some really fun stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Last year we did it the following day, but we had to be out of the room. We only had like 4 hours in the room. And this time we can stay in there through dinner, through wherever. We don't have any limit. So that's why we scheduled it this way. So but it is fun. You can see some stuff that people are going like, damn. I think last year was that the first time you showed your sheet stuff?
In that capacity, yeah. And there were a couple things that have not been shared again since, just because of the nature of what they are. And this year there's a couple of fun things that I got planned for my presentation. As we were talking about earlier, I'm also going to be showing people how to set up virtual machines and a server farm. So if you're running any kind of VAs, if they need virtualized machines, anything like that, virtualization changed the way my agency runs, because I can have VAs log in on one of my cloud machines as opposed to working on their machine. So if they ever decide to leave, or if I decide that they need to leave, I still have the machine. It's still technically my essential laptop, and they're using that for any of the agency work. So you have a lot better access control on who's coming in.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it because I need some of those servers and the way that you build the servers out for what, like around $60 a piece. That's going to save me a fortune right there. So I think Brian froze. Colorado got him. Yeah, he's froze. So, but yeah, no, it's one of the coolest things I'm looking forward to seeing Brian do because that's personally going to help save my agency some money. And that's the thing that I want to do is, dude, I'm all about saving money right now in my agency. So, and growth. Anything else, gentlemen, before we head out?
I'm just gonna say that last time, like last year, was my first time at this conference, and it was amazing, and it had like a incredible impact on my business, and things have been really just like ramping up ever since. I've networked with people, I've learned new things, and it's really been amazing.
Thank you for that. Yeah, it was really, it's when I asked you to speak, you're like, really? And I was like, yeah, come on, man, let's go on board. Let's do this thing. So yeah, it's cool that, because I got to know you better. Well, I've obviously known you for a few years, but last year I really got to know you and your wife better and really got to understand more what you're doing with this stuff. And I think it's just really freaking cool. We talked about it even before spring training that you were doing it, and it's I love what you're doing. I love that you're going to teach us what to do. Oh, there's DK. And just be there for people to ask questions, bounce stuff off of, because it's different than lead gen. So that's the first thing we got to get out of it. Oh, it's a lead gen with an equity share. No, it's not. It's like 2 steps above that.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate the kind words. That's awesome. So welcome back, Brian.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Someone didn't like what I was saying.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think
Come to SEO spring training. You'll learn more.
Exactly right. So, well, thank you everybody for joining us today. If you got any questions about SEO spring training, if you got any questions about the live stream or any of that stuff, reach out to me, Elizabeth, any of the speakers. They're all, they can all help you. But we look forward to it. I think, actually, yeah, we check into the hotel a week from today. So that's pretty crazy, that it's coming up so quick. But anyways, happy Easter to everybody. Blessings to your family, and we will talk to everybody soon.
Bye.